Okay, let us know about gaseous state. Gaseous state has a special property, that is, the gases can be compressed infinitesimally, the gases can be expanded infinitesimally. Means there is no limit for expansion of gas and there is no limit for compression of the gas. 1 ml of gas can be converted to 1000 ml or 1000 liter, or 1000 liter gas can be converted into 10 ml. That is, we can compress infinitesimally, we can expand infinitesimally. Let us know some properties of gas, that is shape and volume. Already you know, gases do not have definite shape, they do not have definite volume. They don't have definite shape because there is no strong attraction among the molecules. They don't have definite volume because the intermolecular space is not constant. On compression, the intermolecular space decreases. On expansion, the intermolecular space increases. So there is no definite intermolecular space among the gas molecules, so they don't have definite volume. Second one, density. Gases have very low density because mass per unit volume of gas is very less. Mass per unit volume depends upon arrangement of the particles. Arrangement per unit volume, very less number of particles are present, so mass per unit volume of gas is less, so they have very low density. Third one, compressibility. Compressibility means we can compress highly, we can compress them very highly they can be compressed. Why we are able to compress? Because there is large intermolecular space. The molecules have a very large intermolecular space, so we can compress them. They have high diffusibility. Diffusibility, nothing but mixing. They readily mix. Their diffusion power is more because first for diffusibility we can give two reasons. One reason, they have a large intermolecular spaces. It means space is available for occupation. Second one, they have very high kinetic energy. Their movement is more, their kinetic energy is more. For diffusion, these two factors are necessary, and these factors, because of these factors, they have high diffusibility. And fifth one, pressure. Gases exert pressure in all direction. Solids exert pressure only downwards. It means only one direction they can exert pressure. But liquids have two types of pressure, that is downward pressure and lateral pressure. Liquids exert pressure on the walls also, but solids do not exert pressure on the walls. Whereas gases exert pressure in all direction, and that pressure is uniform. Because reason for that is they are easy movable, they can move in all directions. Because of that movement, they exert force on all walls, so they exerting pressure on in all direction. Okay, these are some properties of the gases. Next one, measurable properties of gases. Measurable properties of gases are mass, temperature, pressure, volume. I told in detail about all these things. Just you go through the notes, you will get the explanation for all these. I am not going to tell in detail about this. Next one, gas laws. Gas laws, nothing but the laws which govern the properties of the matter. First one, Boyle's law. Boyle's law states that at constant temperature, the volume of a given mass of gas is inversely proportional to pressure. It means pressure and volume are inversely related at constant temperature. Boyle's law relates pressure and volume and they are inversely proportional. Okay. In examination, theory examination, you will get the question as state Boyle's law, write its mathematical form. Then you have to write its statement, that is, at constant temperature, the volume of a given mass of gas is inversely proportional to pressure. Then you are arriving at an equation, an expression, that is V proportional to 1 by P, or PV is equals to constant. And we have another one equation, that is P1 V1 equals to P2 V2. Means at same temperature, P1 V1 are initial pressure and initial volume of gas. If we increase the pressure or if we decrease the pressure to P2, it means there is variation in the pressure. Because of that variation, there is variation in the volume, but the product of pressure and volume remain constant at same temperature. That is P1 V1 equals to P2 V2. For this you can refer your notes. Graphically we can represent pressure, volume, or we can represent Boyle's law in three different ways. One is pressure along the x-axis, volume along the y-axis, but here we have taken 1 by V. So pressure along the x-axis, 1 by V along the y-axis, and we are getting a straight line passing through the origin. Second graph, PV along the y-axis and pressure along the x-axis. For this we are getting this type of straight lines or this type of curves, and these curves are parallel to pressure axis. And here temperature, this is the graph produced at T1 and second one is T2. Here T2 is greater than T1. At higher temperature, pressure value is more, volume value is also more, because pressure and volume both are directly proportional to temperature. So at high temperature, P value is more, V value is more. Therefore, this is the graph obtained at high temperature. And third one, that is normal graph. V is along the y-axis and pressure along the x-axis, and we are getting this type of graph. That is, pressure and volume are inversely proportional to each other. As you increase the pressure, there is decrease in volume. As you decrease the pressure, there is increase in volume. Okay. We have isotherms. These are the isotherms. Isotherms nothing but the PV curves which are obtained at constant temperature. This is an isotherm. At temperature 200 Kelvin we got this curve. At 300, at 500, means at constant temperature we got different curves, and these curves are nothing but isotherms. Okay. Then this is 200 Kelvin, 300 Kelvin, 500 Kelvin, means as the temperature increase at a particular pressure, V is directly proportional to temperature. So this will be at higher temperature, whereas this will be at lower temperature. In some problems they may not mention the temperatures, just they write T1, T2, T3. In that case they may ask you compare the temperatures, which one is the highest temperature, which one is the lowest temperature. In that case we come to know that first we have to make a constant pressure. Okay, this will be a constant pressure. At this constant pressure, this is the V value, and this is the V value at 300. This will be the V value at 200 Kelvin. But we also know that if pressure kept constant, according to Charles' law, volume is directly proportional to temperature. At constant pressure, volume and temperature are directly proportional. So at this is the highest volume and this is the lowest volume, so this will be at higher temperature whereas this will be at lower temperature. In this way we are able to calculate that. Okay. Second one, Charles' law. Charles' law relates volume and temperature at constant pressure. According to Charles' law, it states that at a given pressure, volume of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to absolute temperature. It means as you increase the temperature, there is increase in the volume of the gas. So again means mathematical form of Charles' law, that is V proportional to T at constant P, or V by T equals to constant. At same pressure, if we are comparing the volume of gas at two different conditions, that is V1 and V2, or the volume of gas T1 and T2 or the temperature of the gas, then V1 by T1 equals to V2 by T2. We are getting that equation and we call it as mathematical form of Charles' law. Charles' law can also be defined as, it can also be stated as, at constant pressure, the volume of a given mass of gas increases or decreases by 1 by 273 of its volume at 0 degrees Celsius for every 1 degree rise in temperature or fall in temperature. It is another form of Charles' law, or we can say another statement of Charles' law. But first one is the simple one, so you can follow that. Second one is only for your understanding. It means that at constant pressure, the volume of a given mass of gas increases or decreases. If you raise the temperature, there is increase in the volume. If you decrease the temperature, there is decrease in the volume. How much? 1 by 273 of its volume at 0 degrees Celsius. It means that if we have 1 liter of gas at 0 degrees Celsius, if we increase the temperature of that gas from 0 degree to 1 degree, there is increase in volume. How much? Nothing but 1 by 273 into 1 liter. 1 by 273 into 1 liter. If we raise 10 degrees Celsius, then volume at raised temperature is equals to V0, that is 1 liter, plus 1 by 273 into 10. It means that by this we come to know that when we raise the temperature of water to 273 degrees Celsius, we have 1 liter oxygen at 0 degrees Celsius. If its temperature increase to 273 degrees Celsius, there is increase in the volume. Your 1 liter oxygen converts to 2 liters. That is Charles' law. If we get the graphs at constant pressure, then though constant pressure between volume and temperature, then we call those graphs as isobars. These are the isobars. On x-axis we have temperature, on y-axis we have volume, and we are getting different curves, and these curves nothing but isobars. Here also 1 2 3 4 is given. Which one is the higher pressure, which one is the lower pressure, we can measure it. As you know that pressure and volume at a particular, at constant temperature, let us take at minus 100 degrees Celsius, we have at minus 100 degrees Celsius. Here this is having a maximum volume and this is having a minimum volume, and we know that volume and pressure are inversely proportional. So here volume is more, it means the pressure of the system is less, whereas here the maximum pressure and here the minimum pressure. In this way we are going to calculate the pressure also. Next one, Gay-Lussac's law. Gay-Lussac's law compares pressure and temperature at constant volume. We can state Gay-Lussac's law as at a constant volume, the pressure of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to absolute temperature. Here also, just like Charles' law, we are getting P1 by T1 equals to P2 by T2. That is at constant volume, at two different conditions of temperature, what will be the change in pressure, we can relate by P1 by T1 equals to P2 by T2. And last one is the Avogadro's law. Avogadro's law relates volume of the gas and the number of moles of gas. Under a certain conditions of temperature and pressure, it means pressure and temperature are kept constant, then volume of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to number of moles. If number of moles of the gas is more, volume occupied by the gas is more. By this we are having a molar volume concept, that is volume occupied by 1 mole of gas, and it is equals to 22.4 liter or 22,400 ml or 22,400 cubic centimeter, and this volume is called molar volume. All gases occupy this volume at 0 degrees Celsius and 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay, these are the some important laws of gas. After completing these 4 laws, let us know ideal gas equation and derivation. Ideal gas, the gas which obey Boyle's law and Charles' law for all conditions of temperature and pressure, nothing but ideal gas. It means that at any condition, if the gases obey Boyle's law and Charles' law, then we say the gas is ideal, otherwise the gas is not ideal but it is a real. The ideal gas equation is given by PV equals to nRT, that is pressure, volume, number of moles, RT. R is a constant, T is temperature. So PV equals to nRT, we call it as ideal gas equation. For 1 mole of gas, the ideal gas become PV equals to RT. And we got this ideal gas equation by using Boyle's law, Charles' law and Avogadro's law. We can derive this ideal gas equation by using Boyle's law. We know that pressure is volume is inversely proportional to pressure at constant temperature. Second, volume is directly proportional to temperature at constant pressure, that is Charles law. And we also know that under constant temperature and pressure, volume is directly proportional to number of moles. Means V is proportional to 1 by P, N and P. That is V inversely proportional to P, V directly proportional to number of moles, V directly proportional to temperature. This is according to Charles law, this is according to Avogadro's law, and this is according to Boyle's law. By using these three laws, we can derive ideal gas equation. Already we derived that ideal gas equation, just divide for the notes. Ideal gas equation in terms of density, we can write pressure is equals to D into RT by M. We know that PV is equals to nRT. PV is equals to N is nothing but number of moles, that is mass of the gas divided by molar mass into RT. Then P is equals to M divided by V into RT by M. M by V nothing but density. So in place of M by V, we are substituting D. So P is equals to D RT by M. So this is Dalton's law. This is ideal gas equation in terms of density. Next, Dalton's law of partial pressure. I am not going to tell in detail about the statement. Dalton's law of partial pressure states that whenever we have mixture of non-reacting gases, the total pressure exerted by the gas is directly proportional to, or the total pressure exerted by the gas is equal to partial pressure of individual gases. Consider we have a system, and in this system we have gas A, gas B, gas C, gas D, gas E, gas F, different types of gases, and the condition is that they are non-reacting. They are not going to react. When they are not going to react, they have their own pressure inside the container, inside the cylinder. A has its own pressure, D has its own pressure, and those pressure nothing but partial pressure. Partial, part of the total pressure, nothing but partial pressure. So total pressure of gas is equal to partial pressure of A, partial pressure of B, partial pressure of C, so on. This is Dalton's law. Here the condition is that the gases do not chemically reactive. There is no reaction between A and F. There is no reaction between A and B. If the gases are reacting, this law is not applicable. For example, for hydrogen and chlorine, we cannot apply this law because hydrogen chlorine react to give hydrogen chloride. So nitrogen and hydrogen, if the temperature and pressure are high, means normal condition is not there, in that case these two combine to form ammonia. So here we are unable to explain, or we are unable to apply the Dalton's law. For ammonia and hydrochloric acid HCl, we cannot add because these two react to give an ammonium chloride. So Dalton's law of partial pressure is only applicable whenever the gases are non-reacting. Next one and the last one, that is Graham's law of diffusion. Statement: you refer my notes. Just I explain here. Let us know first what do you mean by diffusion. Diffusion nothing but mixing of gases completely. If hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide are left in classroom, these gases intermix immediately, and this phenomena we are going to call it as diffusion. Graham's law states that under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, the rates of diffusion of different gases are inversely proportional to square root of their density. Just I repeat. Under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, it means different gases are there and they are maintained at same temperature and pressure. In that case, the rates of diffusion of different gases are inversely proportional to square root of their density. Rate of diffusion of gas. Rate of diffusion, nothing but how much amount of gas is mixed. That depends upon density of the gas. That is inversely proportional to square root of density. Let R is the rate of diffusion of gas, D is the density of the gas, and R and density rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to square root of density. If R1 is the rate of diffusion of one gas, R2 is rate of diffusion of second gas, D1 is density of the first gas, D2 is density of the second gas. In that case, R1 proportional to 1 by square root of D1 and R2 proportional to 1 by square root of D2. Just if we compare them, R1 by R2 is equals to D2 by D1. Just solving this, we are getting square root of D2 divided by square root of D1. Simply we can write here square root of D2 by D1. It means that if the gas is dense, the rate of diffusion is less. If the gas is light, the rate of diffusion is more. The gases having lower molecular mass diffuse readily. The gases with higher molecular mass diffuse slowly. This is Graham's law of diffusion.